In the year 1196, Richard the Lionheart built a fortress unlike any the world had seen. Château Gaillard, the saucy castle, perched on a cliff above the River Seine in Normandy. 3 levels of defense, walls of pale limestone, curved and flowing to deflect projectiles. Towers positioned to cover every angle of attack. A massive keep that commanded the valley below. Richard himself declared it could hold against any army. The French called it unbreakable. For 6 years, no enemy dared approach its walls until one man believed the impossible could be done.
Château Gaillard stands between us and Normandy. While it holds, we cannot reclaim what is ours. We will lay siege.
My lord, this fortress was designed by Richard himself. 3 walls. A donjon that has never been breached. Men call it the strongest castle in Christendom. People once said even Troy would never fall. But it did. Every fortress has a weakness.
But how does one fight an unbreakable wall, my king?
Not with strength alone. We will starve them. We will break their stone.
And if walls will not yield, we will find another way inside.
The English garrison is well supplied. William de Braose and Gilbert de Clare command the defense, seasoned warriors.
They can hold for months. Then we will wait months, years, if necessary. But that castle will fall.
In September 1203, King Philip II assembled his army before Château Gaillard. The fortress was not just stone and mortar, it was a symbol. As long as it stood, English power in Normandy remained unbroken. But Philip understood something crucial. Every fortress has a weakness. The question was not if the castle could be taken, but how.
The French have come. They camp below like dogs circling a wounded stag. Let them circle.
My lord, their army is vast. Thousands of men. Siege engines already being assembled. And we stand behind walls designed by Richard Lionheart himself. No wall is stronger.
No position more defensible.
But do we have enough supplies to outlast a siege?
We have grain for 6 months, salted meat, wine, water from our own well. They cannot starve us before winter breaks their siege.
And if winter does not break them,
then we hold. This castle cannot be broken. Richard swore it. I believe it.
William de Braose and Gilbert de Clare had reason for confidence. Château Gaillard was revolutionary in design. Its curved walls deflected siege stones. Its multiple baileys meant attackers would have to breach 3 separate defenses. The donjon stood on the highest point, virtually unreachable. But sieges are not won by walls alone. They are won by will, by supply, and by time.
Where are you bound?
to the castle, my lord. Grain and salted fish for the garrison.
Turn back! Nothing enters that fortress! King's orders!
But, my lord, I have a contract.
Your contract is void. The castle is sealed. Leave now, or your goods will be seized.
Philip's strategy was patient and brutal. He did not rush the walls. Instead, he cut off every supply route, roads, river access, messenger paths. French knights turned back merchants, confiscated provisions, and ensured nothing could reach the besieged garrison. No food could enter, no messengers could leave. The garrison inside had stores for months, but so did the French. The question became, who would break first? For weeks, both armies worked non-stop. The French expanded their siege works, built more powerful trebuchets, and tested the castle's defenses with intermittent bombardments. Inside, the English garrison rationed food, repaired damage, and watched their supplies dwindle. Rain turned the French camp into a sea of mud, but the siege continued without pause. This was not a waiting game. It was a grinding contest of endurance, engineering, and will.
My lord, at current consumption, we have perhaps 8 weeks remaining. Then we reduce rations again.
And what of the civilians? The villagers who sought refuge here?
We cannot sustain them. Not now.
My lord, if they stay, the garrison starves!
Then they cannot stay. Give them what little we can spare. At first light, send them out.
Hundreds of civilians had sought refuge inside Château Gaillard when the siege began. Farmers, families, children. They thought the fortress would protect them. But as weeks turned into months and food grew scarce, these civilians became a burden the garrison could not afford. In one of the siege's darkest moments, the English commanders expelled them from the castle, hoping the French would let them pass to safety. King Philip refused. The expelled civilians were trapped in the no-man's land between castle and camp. Many died of starvation and cold, caught between two armies who saw them as pawns, not people.
My king, preparations are complete. We are ready to begin the true assault.
Then let us break their pride.
Reload! Aim for the same spot! We break them stone by stone!
Medieval trebuchets could hurl stones weighing hundreds of pounds over great distances. A single hit would crack stone. Repeated strikes on the same section would eventually shatter even the strongest wall. But this took time, ammunition, and patience. Philip had all three.
The outer wall won't hold much longer.
Then we fall back to the middle bailey. Let them have the outer ring.
We still have 2 walls between them and the keep. My lord, if we abandon the outer bailey, we can serve our men. We make them fight for every inch. That is how we win.
How much deeper?
until we're beneath the foundation. Then we dig along it.
And then?
Then we bring the whole wall down.
We're under the wall now. A few more feet and we can set the fire. And if the tunnel collapses before we escape, then we die under English stone. But at least we die taking it down with us.
But the trebuchets were not the French's only weapon. While stones hammered the walls from above, another attack was underway beneath the ground. French miners dug tunnels under the fortress foundations, working in darkness and danger. They dug under the walls and supported the tunnels with wooden beams. Then they prepared to bring the entire structure crashing down. It was slow, brutal work, but devastatingly effective.
The outer bailey is ours, my king.
One wall down. 2 remain.
For France! For the king! Hold them back! Do not let them gain the wall!
The middle bailey was stronger than the outer ring, thicker walls, better positioned towers, more defendable gates. But the French brought overwhelming numbers. Wave after wave of soldiers assaulted the walls. The English fought bravely, but they were exhausted, hungry, and outnumbered. After weeks of constant bombardment and assault, the middle bailey fell. The English retreated to their final defense, the inner bailey and the great donjon.
We still hold the keep. These walls are the strongest. The donjon has never been breached. We can still hold. We will hold! My lords, we have lost 2/3 of the castle. Our numbers are halved. Supplies nearly gone. Then we fight with what we have. This is where we stand.
Do you truly believe we can hold, my lord?
I believe we must try.
Two walls taken, my king, but the third will be the hardest. Those walls are thicker. The keep itself is nearly impregnable. Every fortress has a weakness. We will find it.
We have thrown everything at them. Trebuchets, mines, ladders, towers. What more can we do?
We stop trying to break the walls. We find another way inside.
Here. Look at this. A latrine chute. It leads inside. Can we fit through? Barely. But yes.
My king, the scouts have found an opening, Kest. A sewer drain beneath the chapel.
It opens into the courtyard inside.
To think a drain could undo a kingdom. How many men can pass through?
A dozen, perhaps. No more. And they must crawl. It will be slow, dangerous.
But once inside? They will be behind the defenders. They can open the gates from within.
Then we send our best. Men who will not fail.
The French had found the weakness Philip knew must exist, a small sewer opening beneath the chapel, meant to drain waste, never intended as a point of attack. It was narrow, filthy, and dangerous, but it led inside. A handful of men crawling through darkness could do what an entire army could not, breach the inner bailey from within.
Stay quiet. Stay together. Once inside, secure the gatehouse and open the doors.
I can't. It's too tight.
Then you fight. And you do not let them close that gate. For France.
I can't. Keep moving. We're almost through.
To the gatehouse. Quietly. Now.
Help me! It's heavy!
The gate is open! Take the castle!
In a single brilliant stroke, a dozen men had done what months of siege could not. The inner bailey was breached. English defenders, shocked and surrounded, fought desperately, but they were exhausted, outnumbered, and caught completely by surprise. The battle was short, brutal, and decisive.
To the keep! Fall back to the donjon! Surrender, my lord! The castle has fallen! By what sorcery did you breach these walls?
Not sorcery. Strategy.
Where is the English king? Was John taken with the garrison?
No, my king. King John is not here. He abandoned Normandy weeks ago.
Abandoned?
He withdrew across the Channel as our forces advanced. He made no attempt to relieve the siege.
Then Normandy is truly ours.
King John of England never came to rescue Château Gaillard. As Philip's campaign intensified, John retreated to England, leaving his garrison to fight without support. This absence sealed the fate not just of the fortress, but of English Normandy itself. The commanders who defended the castle had fought with courage and skill, but they had been abandoned by the crown they served. With Château Gaillard fallen and John across the Channel, English authority in northern France collapsed. Within months, Philip would control all of Normandy. The siege of Château Gaillard lasted 6 months. It claimed hundreds of lives, soldiers, civilians, miners crushed in tunnels, men starved behind walls. The French used every weapon medieval warfare could offer: trebuchets that smashed stone, mines that collapsed foundations, and finally, the cunning infiltration that breached the inner bailey. William de Braose, Gilbert de Clare, and their garrison were taken prisoner. King Philip II had won. Normandy would fall to France within months. The fortress that Richard the Lionheart swore could never be taken had been conquered, not by destroying its walls, but by finding the one weakness no builder had considered.
Richard built well. This fortress was nearly perfect.
But not invincible, my king.
No fortress is truly invincible. Every wall has a weakness. Every defense, a flaw.
The question is whether your enemy is clever enough to find it.
Château Gaillard would remain standing for centuries after its fall. Parts of its walls were damaged during and after the siege. In the 16th century, it was finally demolished to prevent it from being used by enemies of France. Today, ruins still stand on that limestone cliff, a reminder that even the greatest works of human ambition are not eternal. Richard the Lionheart built a masterpiece. King Philip II proved that no masterpiece is unbreakable. In the end, the fortress fell not to strength, but to patience, strategy, and the simple truth that every stone has a crack, every wall has a door, and every certainty can be shattered by those willing to look beyond the obvious.